Hey, welcome back. We are still in chapter 13. We're working on transforming type in our textbook Adobe Photoshop Creative Cloud Revealed. And we are in the document that we have been working on, Classic Cat, and now we're going to make bad things even worse, in my opinion, with this type, warped type. We're going to enhance the warped type with effects. Yeah, don't ever do this to your type, okay? All right, so now we're going to zoom out until the magnification level is at 66.7%. I'm going to actually stay right where I am because I want to be able to see it all right. We're going to click the Add a Layer Style button on the Layers panel. So you're going to go to your layers, make sure that you're on the Playful Cat Edition. And then we are going to click this button at the bottom, adding a layer style. And then we are going to click Stroke. And then we're going to move this box so that warped type is visible. And I'm going to close out my layers here as well. And we're going to set the color of the stroke box. Click on that particular box. Set color of stroke box in the layer style dialog box. So first of all, make sure you have the stroke selected, and this should be highlighted in order to get the other options available here. For example, if I choose bevel and emboss, you can see that impact that it has on my type. We probably won't do that, but it doesn't change these options unless you click here, and then that brings you to the bevel and emboss options, dialog options boxes. So I'm going to go back to stroke, and I'm going to click over here in the stroke panel, and then I am going to set this color. We want to make sure that only the web colors are available, so we're going to check that box. Oh, I guess we're going to not check that box. Then we're going to click the image anywhere in the light blue background in order to pick up our new color. See if I can find it here. Oh, it's going to be close. I hit it. All right, good. Then we're going to click OK to close the color picker. And then in the layer style dialog box, we're going to make sure that the size is set to 3 pixels. Yeah, that's way too tight. For those of you that are going to become professional graphic designers, if you're developing or setting type, anytime that the stroke runs into the next letter form, it can degrade number one, the style of the letter form, but number two, make it much more difficult to read. So I'd be very cautious with this. There are times when you make it so large, for example, that it puts almost like a solid color behind it. Now that's not quite so bad. That's at 8 pixels. But this in between, I don't know, 3 pixels where they're running into the letter forms, yeah, I probably would never do that. All right, so I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to do a Command or Control S to save my work. All right, and we are moving on to converting a type layer to a shape layer. So we want to again go back into our layers panel, and we're going to go to the Catitude News layer on the layers panel, and we're going to click the layers panel options button, and we're going to click on duplicate layer. Now when you're duplicating a layer, you have the option of keeping the duplicate in the current image. You could add it to another image. So if you look here, these are where the options are available to you. Or placing it in a new image by clicking the document list arrow. Now we're going to type screened back type in the As text box. And then click OK. And again, remember that's the copy of our Cattitude layer, or Cattitude News. Then we're going to type screen, oh, we already did that. Now we're going to click the Indicates Layer Visibility button on the Cattitude News layer. And then we're going to compare layers panels. So you should have Classic Cat, and then Playful Cat Edition, and then we should have the screen back type, and then the second Cattitude News, what we copied from, should not be visible. We're going to use the workspace switcher to display the legacy workspace, which I did not complete that, so I'm not going to do that, but you certainly can. And then we're going to go to Type on the menu bar and click Convert to Shape, as shown in Figure 20. The type layer is converted to a shape layer, which you can tell by this the little shape icon down in the lower right hand corner of that thumbnail. And then we are going to next adjust that layer content. So in preparation for screening back this type that we're going to be doing in a moment, we created a duplicate layer. We hid the original from our view, and then we converted that duplicate layer into a shape layer. All right, now you want to go back up here, and we're going to switch back to the Essentials workspace. We're going to click the Levels button on the adjustment panel. And this adjustment is going to affect all the layers below. Click to Clip to Layer button on the Properties panel. So we're going to go back over here. And although they're saying that in a roundabout way, I think what they want us to do is to click this button. And so then it only affects this particular Cattitude News layer. We're going to drag the Input Levels Midtone slider to the left. I'll move this over so I can read it and do it at the same time maybe. So we want to get it to about 190. And you'll see that the content of that layer now looks a little bit lighter. We're going to drag that output levels shadow slider to the right until the left output levels box reads 115 as shown in Figure 22, or you'll see it on my screen in just a moment. I'm just going to type that in there. And then we're going to collapse the Properties panel back to the dock. We're going to click the screened back type layer on the Layers panel. And we're going to adjust the opacity of that layer to 85%. We're going to go to layer 1 on the Layers panel. We're going to do a Command or Control S to save our work. And then we're going to compare our image to figure 23 or mine on the screen. And this is the Cattitude News that you can barely see. And we modified the midtones and shadows level on the shape level layer, and we did that with the levels panel. We adjusted the output levels shadow slider to make the pixels that make up the text more light, or text appear lighter. And I think that I will be back in just a moment. I mean, I know I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, I'm back, and the next couple of exercises, I think I'm going to just step out of the and do this bistro white chrome type effect, because it's kind of a fun one, and they don't really show you how to do that in the textbook. So I'll do that and probably make this my last demo, except for those that are requested. So first thing I'm going to do is bring up my Layers panel again. And I'm going to just shut off all of these layer visibility icons so that I can work on doing just the, oh, here I missed a couple. I will keep the blue one on so we can see what that looks like. I'm going to add a new layer. Well, actually, I'm not even going to add it because it's going to add it automatically anyway. So the first thing that you want to do to create an illusion of white chrome, for example, we're going to start with black type, and it should be a fairly large size. And I'm going to do something else other than this typeface. First, I'm going to get it a little bit larger, and I am holding down the Shift key to enable me to increase the size proportionally. And then again, I'm going to get the Type tool, and I'm going to change this to a thicker typeface that will hopefully show the chrome effect a little bit more. So now we're going to add a drop shadow. So we're going to go back down to the bottom of the Layers panel. And I'll take just whatever defaults I have. That's a little bit larger than what their drop shadow is. So if I did want to change that out, I would just decrease the size a little bit of the blur, and the distance from the letter forms, I would decrease that as well, so it was a little bit closer into the letter forms. And then click OK. And then we're going to switch the foreground color to white. Make sure that's white, white. And then we're going to fill that type with the new foreground color by pressing Alt Backspace if you're on a Windows, or Option Delete if you're on a Mac. There you go. Then we're going to add an inner shadow style. And so again, we're going to go back over here. We're going to pull up our layers panel. I have to keep getting rid of it, sorry guys, because my workspace is so small. So I want to make sure that that's highlighted. Going to go back down here to adding a layer style. And then we want to add a shadow. So we're going to look for a inner shadow. And it says inner shadow style, which really doesn't give any instructions as to how we want that to look. But let's see. Holy moly, that's so annoying. And then a satin style with a low distance rating, it says. And then to add color to the effect, at the bottom of figure 25, you'll see that. You just modify the hue, saturation setting, and the curve settings. So still having that highlighted, we want to go into the adjustments panels. So we are going to go to new adjustment, and we want hue saturation. We definitely want it clipped to that one layer. And of course I could play with this forever. So this at least will get you started and show you what layers are, or what effects and what layer adjustments you need to work. And then you would want to do each one of these individually. Just simply experiment with them. I can see now that I'd want to spend a lot more time with that inner shadow, see where their inner shadow is laying to the outside of the letter forms, and I've got too much of mine on the inside. But again, just briefly to show you how to start that chrome effect. And as you can see, I got a lot more work to do with it, and I don't want to take up your time. So let me know if I can be of any help, guys. Talk to you later.